one of my direct subordinates, one of my guys that worked for me, he would call me up or pull me aside with some major problem, some issue that was going on. And he'd say, boss, we got this and that and the other thing. And I'd look at him and I'd say, good. And finally one day he was telling me about some issue that he was having, some problem. And he said, I already know what you're going to say. And I said, well, what am I going to say? He said, you're going to say good. He said, that's what you always say. When something is wrong and going bad, you always just look at me and say good. And I said, well, yeah. When things are going bad, there's going to be some good that's going to come from it. Didn't get the new high-speed gear we wanted? Good. Didn't get promoted? Good. More time to get better. Oh, mission got canceled? Good. We can focus on another one. Didn't get funded. Didn't get the job you wanted. Got injured. Sprained my ankle. Got tapped out? Good. Got beat? Good. You learned. Unexpected problems? Good. We have the opportunity to figure out a solution. That's it. When things are going bad, don't get all bummed out. Don't get startled. Don't get frustrated. If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
Meaning, you ever been in the airport and when you don't get your flight on time, you get delayed, and you can be standing by some people and they get mad and they almost make you mad. You're like, man, I wasn't even trying to get mad, but they making me mad. Never even realizing life may be protecting you from something. Like it's like the 9/11 incident. I was doing some research on it. I'll never forget. I'm doing research on it. Terrible incident. A lot of people lost their lives. Senseless act. And it talked about in this article the other side of it. And in the other side, what they spoke about was that morning, a gentleman had to take his daughter to kindergarten, and he really wanted to get to some meetings, but because he had to take his daughter to kindergarten, he couldn't make it to the meetings on time, and so he just called out the whole day. And his wife asked him that morning, he was getting dressed, his wife said to him, can you please take our daughter to kindergarten? He said, I really need to be at these meetings. She said, can you please take our daughter to kindergarten? I really need to be at work. He said, I really need to get to these meetings. She asked him one more time, can you please? I beg you, can you please? He said, all right, I'll do it. He called in, didn't go to work that day, and because he took his daughter to kindergarten, it spared his life. One gentleman on the New Jersey Turnpike, headed to the same buildings, New Jersey Turnpike, accident happens, breaks down, can't get there on time, and because it happened, a situation that he couldn't control, it spared his life. One gentleman got a new pair of shoes, walking to work, got a blister on his foot. He had to go back home, change his shoes, and because he had to go back home to change it, it saved his life. One gentleman walking down the street, they send him to get some donuts. A guy comes, spills some coffee on his shirt. He had to go and change his shirt. Because he had to go and change his shirt, it spared his life. The other side. Meaning things happening out of their control, and because it happened out of their control, it spared their life. Meaning at a certain point, when do we control the controllables? Attitude. When do we control the controllable? Focus. When do we control the controllables? Commitment, dedication, spirit, the energy and the passion that I bring into an environment. When do we control the controllable? I couldn't control. I got a paralyzed right arm and hand. I couldn't control my career ended. I couldn't even plan for it. But when it happened, I could step back and say, okay, life, I can no longer play the game of football, but let me extract that dedication and commitment from the game. I can step back and say, my arm and my hand is paralyzed. My dedication isn't. My purpose isn't. My arm and my hand is paralyzed. My work ethic, it isn't. My purpose isn't. My arm and my hand is paralyzed. My dedication isn't. My purpose isn't. Meaning my reason for why I first started, it never got paralyzed. And as talented, as brilliant, as strong as people are, it's the saddest thing in the world when I see people just stop giving everything they got to something that they once loved. Because I think we all know the raw truth of it is people don't burn out because of what they do. People burn out because life makes them forget why they do. Meaning life hits them and hits them with something till they just like, man, if I gotta go through that, like I'm not bringing it today, man. And every day is not a good day. Everything is not all peaches and cream. But that's why the culture is so important. That's why when the culture is set, we know what we bring to it and we know how we get down because we know what we're working for, and the purpose of it is greater than any individual.
I want to maximize what I can. I want to be the best that I can be. I want to do things well, and I don't want to leave stuff on the table, but I don't want to be chasing the end goal so much that I never actually enjoyed the process of getting there, because ultimately that's really all that matters. But you're going to look back at any destination and realize that it was 99.9% journey and only, one day of celebrating achieving the thing. The few things that I know that you can do, one of the most practical ways to do it is to put post-it notes around the house. And when you see the post-it notes, write on it whatever you want. Just take 30 seconds to find a way to be thankful or grateful for something that's happening right now. A positive place that you draw mental strength from when life is difficult has to be, I just want to be better and I'm trying my best. That's all that there is. You want to be better. That is something to be proud of. You want to leave it all on the field of play. You want to make yourself as good as you can. You want to make the world a better place. You want to have an impact. All of these things are just all positives. Paying attention has been the single greatest competitive advantage that I've had, because I pay attention to things and I try to be precise and I care. But also, the more that you're able to let go and not fear about stuff, the more enjoyable you'll find it. So the thing that is making you better is the thing which is making you feel pain. And this is a perennial balance. I don't think I've ever personally actually been disparaging of someone that has a 9-to-5, because I have been someone that's had a 9-to-5, albeit not for long. I did it for 6 months. But every single person that I knew growing up had a 9-to-5 or bigger, and my dad certainly did. And then coming from a super working class background, I've always felt a little bit uncomfortable with the way that 9-to-5s are disparaged. I don't think that the only way that you can enjoy your life is if you pivot and do something yourself. I think it's a very reliable route to do it, and I encourage as many people to do it as possible, but I try not to look down on people that are doing that, because it's the lion's share of most people. How to get past it if your purpose is aligned within a 9-to-5 career? It doesn't matter. Like, I've made huge developments while I was staying up until 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning running a nightlife business. You can make huge developments in your personal growth journey while you're doing a 9-to-5. And if your purpose is aligned within a 9-to-5 career, it doesn't matter. Like, that's your thing. Just lean into it, enjoy that. And all of the guys that don't know when they're supposed to start or when they're supposed to stop, or they've got to be the taskmaster, or they don't know what they're supposed to do today, and they don't get holidays, and they don't get all of that, you don't have to worry about any of that. There are tons of advantages of having a 9-to-5. And if you're enjoying it and your purpose is aligned with it, nail the self-development on an evening time. Make sure that you lock into a hard routine, and you're going to have a great time. So I'm genuinely envious of people that have great 9-to-5s where their purpose is aligned to it, especially if they've got a lot of oversight and structure, because it takes all of the pain. I did a video ages ago. You might even be able to find it. I can't remember what it was called. Something like 10 Reasons to Not Start Your Own Business, or something like that. And it was about precisely this, that it's not all it's cracked up to be, to go and work for yourself. So, I don't know, the disparaging of 9-to-5s, I'm not on board with that. Is it possible to be world-class whilst having fun? That's the question for me this year. It may be that in order to be world-class, fun has to go out the window. And if that's the case, it'll make me sad, but it's whatever, like, that's a price that you perhaps need to pay. But I'm really trying to do this. So what brings me joy? Hanging out with my friends, being outdoors, doing new things, visiting new places, going for good food, especially in different, like, adventure and novelty for me are very invigorating. It's also a great way to make time slow down. When people say, I can't believe how quickly this year's gone, what they mean is, I don't remember the days that have gone so far in this year. One of the best ways that you can slow this down is to add more memory units, and memory units are highly derived from how much novelty there's been.